America, it's that time of the year again. Let's go camping. It's only right we bring in an expert. We welcome in our football analyst, Sam Acho. And Sam, training camp officially kicked off yesterday with the Chargers reporting to camp. So give us your top 3 storylines that got you out your mind as we get into the dog days of summer.
The first one is, what will the Cincinnati Bengals do on defense? Yes, we know they had the number 1 passing offense in the NFL last year, but Trey Hendrickson is potentially not going to be on this team. There's talks about him being traded. There's a contract dispute. Trey Hendrickson led the NFL in sacks last year with 17 and a half. And oh, by the way, he had 17 and a half more sacks the year before. No one has had more than him in the last 2 years. So what do the Bengals do? They go and draft Shamar Stewart to go and replace Trey Hendrickson. Well, Shamar Stewart is still unsigned. He may not play this year, so that's number 1.
Steelers fans, but within that division is another pass rusher hoping to get paid. Bengals all-pro rusher Trey Hendrickson, and during voluntary workouts, he said it's starting to get personal with the way that they were talking over his contract. I mean, America, it was getting messy, but there is some good news here. What is it?
So it's been a little sticky for sure, like you said, but they have resumed talks in recent weeks. They've been in communication. That is the good sign. It has not led to a deal as of yet, but Cincinnati's plan all along has been to sign and extend their 3 top stars, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Trey Hendrickson. They got the 2 done. They know they need this guy. 17 and a half sacks. He was carrying that defense at times last year. It's just, this is a process with a team that doesn't give a lot of guaranteed money beyond year 1 typically, or how they structure their signing bonuses. He wants more long-term security. This is not a year-to-year proposition for him. He's 30 years old, yes, but he feels like he's earned big-time money on a multi-year extension. So we'll see what they can find, and some middle ground that they hope to find. If not, he is dug in. I mean, he is prepared to miss time here.
Yeah, it seems like every single offseason we're having some type of contract issues out of Cincinnati. But let's stay with the pass rusher theme here. Michael Parsons, he's due for a new deal.
It seems to me that if I'm Hendrickson, I'm waiting. Like, now it's to my benefit to have midnight strike later, because I want Watt and Micah to sign first. You know what I mean? Like, and the same thing is, I guess, Micah seems to be like, you know, we saw him at Fanatics Fest too. He's just like going about his business of being Micah Parsons in the world. He knows it's coming.
He told me, don't give up. He goes,
is that what he said to you?
He literally said, it's our year.
So, Tom, there's some information for you. Don't give up is what he told a fellow Cowboy fan. You know what I mean? Like, to me, Jerry Jones's clock ticks in a way that, midnight is going to eventually strike. Just the question is what it is in Jerry's head. I want Watt and I want Micah to sign before I do now. That's what I would be like if I'm Trey Hendrickson. Tom.
Mike is in a little different category because he's younger, because it's a second contract player in terms of the risk factors, the risk of not just injury, but
that's true. That's true. But I'm Trey Hendrickson. I'm on a team that desperately needs my services. Shamar Stewart, who I'd love to get your 2 cents on as well, on what the fix is there to get this rookie edge rusher in, because they have to. This team needs me. It doesn't matter that I'm older than Micah. I still do the same job as Micah. And as far as I'm concerned, I do it maybe even better than Micah. It doesn't matter that I'm older, which just makes it seem for me, I get my money like now, because I know I might not get it again. This may be my last bite at the apple with the leverage that I've got. So to me, I would stick and stay if I were him for as long as I can. And the Bengals could potentially, oblige him by waiting also. I'm just throwing that out there,
Well, okay, let's separate each of these, because there's a few different situations. With Micah, part of the reason that he can be so cool and calm about the situation, including when he's talking with TJ, is the fact that by Micah's own words, he and Jerry Jones had essentially a handshake agreement on a deal months ago. Micah knows exactly what the type of contract is that he's going to be getting. If anything, he's going to end up getting more than what he would have gotten had they finalized the deal back in March.
Right.
Part of the thing with the Cowboys has always been Jerry Jones is a believer in doing long-term deals. There was a time that doing 6-year extensions, 5-year extensions, that was commonplace in the NFL. You look across the league in free agency this year, I believe there's only one 5-year deal done in the entire league, and that was Will Fry's his deal with the Vikings. It's everything everything is trending towards shorter term deals, higher percentages guaranteed, and not having those tail type years. The Cowboys, their history has been you do longer deals, 6-year extensions, if not longer in the case of a guy like Tyron Smith, but you do strong cash flow up front, and then there's team friendly back years on those deals where you end up having somebody at a rate that you can sustain for a long time. With Micah, my sense would be it's not even about the money, because if they had a handshake agreement, the money's already in line. Now this is about, does Micah, who I believe is 25 or 26 right now, does he want to be under contract all the way out until his mid-30s, or does he want to get another bite at the apple around 29 or 30, which is where you see, TJ Watt and Trey Hendrickson coming back here. So that one should be able to get done, but it may require the Cowboys to do something that they've shown in some other recent years and deals that they've been willing to do. They did it with Dak. They did it with CeeDee Lamb. Say, hey, all right, we know what we wanted to do historically, but if we're going to get this done, we're going to have to shave a year or even 2 off that type of an offer and get this thing done. With Trey Hendrickson, he already feels like, Rich, he's been patient. I am with you. If that TJ Watt deal gets done in particular, because the Bengals, like any other team, will go, hey, this is a 26-year-old guy, you're 31, we're not doing that same type of deal. TJ Watt gets done, and they're like 2 months apart, I think, in terms of age.
Right.
Then Trey Hendrickson's going to go, if you're doing that for a guy who hasn't been as durable, wasn't as productive last year, I should get even more. At the same time, Trey Hendrickson has been trying to get a new multi-year contract for like 2 years now. He requested a trade last offseason, and then obviously he came back this offseason and has been very public in this entire thing. He would like to get a multi-year deal that gives him security and keeps him in Cincinnati. To this point, the Bengals just have not stepped up with significant enough of an offer for him to take it. But again, he's not been asking for over Myles Garrett. If TJ Watt and Micah Parsons, for that matter, outshoot Myles Garrett, then suddenly I think you have to have a little bit of a recalibration and say, okay, now the market for 30, 31-year-old defensive ends has gone from here to here. It's going to cost you even more money to get this deal done. We know the Bengals' history too. With contracts, at times these things take a while. We saw it with Jamar Chase. They offered him a very similar type of a deal to Justin Jefferson 2 off seasons ago. Jamar Chase ultimately did not take it. Then the market got reset multiple times in this offseason, and all of a sudden Jamar Chase got substantially more money, albeit with a cash flow based on what he played for last year that you can argue whether or not he actually benefited from the bigger deal. But in terms of the average per year, it ended up being more. The Bengals now, they could find themselves in that situation with Trey Hendrickson. Let's see how things play out, particularly over these next 4 or 5 weeks before we get...
Vikings fans, this one's heating up fast. There's a major name in the trade market right now, and it's a Pro Bowl pass rusher who could absolutely change the game for our defense. Yep, I'm talking about Trey Hendrickson, and the Minnesota Vikings might be in the driver's seat. Let's break this down real quick. Trey Hendrickson is in the middle of a contract standoff with the Bengals. He's in town, yeah, but the negotiations not going anywhere. According to Adam Schefter and others, Cincy's front office is holding firm. They don't want to pay a 30-year-old edge rusher top money on a multi-year deal. But Hendrickson isn't backing down. He wants that long-term commitment. And here's the deal. Cincinnati already gave him permission to seek a trade earlier this offseason. Now the pressure's back, and teams are lining up to take advantage. The Bengals front office has always been about winning the deal, just like when they traded Carson Palmer back in the day. They're not going to give Hendrickson away for cheap. They reportedly want a first-round pick or more. But here's the kicker. No team is going to pay that for a guy who turns 31 this season and wants a big new contract. So what happens when Hendrickson doesn't report to camp? When the holdout gets ugly, the price drops, and that's where the Vikings come in. I'm telling y'all, we make perfect sense. We have a defense that took a leap under Brian Flores last year, but we still need that one dominant presence off the edge. We've had conversations around TJ Watt, Micah Parsons, even Chase Young, but Hendrickson, that's the guy nobody's talking about, and we might actually land him. Sources are saying the Vikings are the most interested team in the NFC right now. Not the Lions, not the 49ers, not even the Eagles. Us. Let me hit you with some numbers. In the last 3 seasons, Hendrickson has 39.5 sacks, 70 QB hits, 30 tackles for loss, and ranked top 10 in pass rush win rate all 3 years. This guy is a technician with elite get-off and violent hands. He fits Brian Flores' system like a glove, attacking from wide alignments, collapsing pockets, forcing early throws. And let's be honest, pairing him with Jonathan Greenard and Andrew Van Ginkel, that front seven becomes scary fast. And here's why I think Kwesi makes this move. He doesn't panic, he waits for value. The Bengals overplayed their hand. They want a first rounder, but they'll end up settling for a day 2 pick plus some late round compensation. And that's the exact kind of opportunistic deal Kwesi lives for. It's low risk. And the reward, a top tier pass rusher who can immediately take us from good to great defensively. Think about the NFC North for a second. The Packers are on the rise. The Lions want revenge after that playoff heartbreak. And the Bears, okay, they're still the Bears, but Caleb Williams is no joke. You want to win this division, you need to hit the quarterback. And Trey Hendrickson does that better than 95% of the league. This move puts us back in the playoff mix. Legit. But hey, Vikings Nation, I need to hear from y'all. Should Kwesi pull the trigger on this? Do you think Hendrickson is worth a second rounder and some change? Or should we stay patient and hold the picks? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one of them, and y'all always bring the fire takes. And if you want daily news, trade breakdowns, and that true skull energy, alright, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those noties. Let's see what happens. But buckle up. Kwesi might be cooking something big, Skull as always.